16, 17, and 18, we're finding solutions when they're in factored form. And these ones will be all set equal to 0. So I can either say this equals 0 or this equals 0 and solve them. Again, these ones we're going to stick between 0 and 2 pi, so we won't have to put that weird stuff at the end. And so we're just basically going to solve each of these separately. Starting here, I have the sine of theta equals 0 then. So sine of theta equals 0. So I'm just going to go ahead, look at my table, find my table again. Under my sine, I'm equal at 0 and at pi. You'll also see that it's equal at 2 pi, but we're not including 2 pi in our answer. So 0 and pi. Over here, we would say 2 cosine of theta minus the square root of 3 equals 0. So 2 cosine of theta equals a positive square root of 3. We would divide by 2. So cosine of theta would equal square root of 3. Let me erase that. Square root of 3 over 2. So again, I'm just going to look up in my table. Under my cosine, square root of 3 over 2, I have pi over 6. Cosine of theta equals square root of 3 over 2 is at 11 pi over 6. All 4 of my answers are different, so I'm going to put them all 4 in. 0, pi, pi over 6, and 11 pi over 6. And all 4 of those would go in for my answer. If you happen to have one that repeats, you don't need to put it on your list more than once. And so I did them both separately, and then I just listed all of my answers. So on this one, if my cosecant of x is let me try that again. If my cosecant of x minus the square root of 2 equals 0, then my cosecant of x would equal positive square root of 2. So I'm going to look under my cosecant equals square root of 2 at pi over 4 and 3 pi over 4. So I did that one there. I'm then going to go on the other one. It says 2 sine of x minus the square root of 3 would equal 0. So 2 sine of x would equal positive square root of 3. So sine of x would equal square root of 3 over 2. So again, I'm going to go back to my table, look under my sine for square root of 3 over 2. I'm at pi over 3. And square root of 3 over 2 under my sine column, looking at this really tiny one and it's hard to read, is at 2 pi over 3. So again, all 4 of my answers are different answers. I'm going to just list all 4 of them. So pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, pi over 3, and 2 pi over 3 are all of the answers that would make that true. Number 18, same kind of thing. Let me move my board here as far up as it will let me go, which is that far. So again, I'm going to just break these down into 2 problems. 2 cosine of x minus the square root of 2 could equal 0. So 2 cosine of x would equal square root of 2. Divide that by 2. Cosine of x equals square root of 2 over 2. So looking at my table, cosine equal to square root of 2 over 2 would be pi over 4. And if I keep looking for square root of 2 over 2 under my cosine, 7 pi over 4. Solving my other one. I have 2 sine of x minus the square root of 2 equals 0. So 2 sine of x would equal positive square root of 2. So sine of x equals the square root of 2 over 2. If I look under my sine for square root of 2 over 2, I'm at pi over 4, and I'm at 3 pi over 4. Now you'll notice on this one I have pi over 4 in both of my answers. I don't want it on my answer twice, so I'm just going to say that I have pi over 4, 7 pi over 4, and add my 3 pi over 4, and just put in 3 answers instead of putting in the pi over 4 twice. So if something repeats, only want it in my answer once.